Levine on the BetQL Network.
And we roll on this Saturday night. Welcome back into the show. It is Tapped Out here on the BetQL Network. PT, you are fresh back from Las Vegas. You got a chance to see in person Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Munguia. That one kind of went the way that most of us thought. Before we get there, let's talk about the big fight tonight. Vasily Lomachenko, Lomo, back in the ring against George Ferocious Kambosos. A little bit surprised to see how big of an underdog Kambosos is. Damn near 5-1 at BetMGM. Right now he's plus 450. Lomo's minus 700. Are you willing to pay that much for the favorite?
Oh, man, not on the money line. I think if you're going to go, the smartest decision probably is, I know you hate this, but the most, probably the most boring thing is Lomachenko by decision, because Kambosos has never been finished. But man, I tell you, since he won the belt and he became, the unified lightweight champion, shocking everybody, beating Teofimo Lopez, he got skunked by Devin Haney in back-to-back fights. His last fight against Maxie Hughes wasn't very impressive. No beef here, but he did stop training down here in South Florida. I don't know if that had anything to do with his performances going down. And so, I don't know. I just don't see how he gets it done tonight unless he knocks out Vasily Lomachenko, and he's not really a knockout artist. And I could see George Kambosos, who can get a little bit gun-shy in fights. I could see him getting flushed pretty early on. So if he's going to have a shot in this fight, he's really got to make a statement to Lomachenko early. I'm talking like rounds 1 through 3. I don't know if he has to knock him down, but he's got to really, really hurt him to get everybody's mind to change on this fight, because otherwise it feels like we're teeing up Lomachenko to set himself up for a matchup with Shakur Stevenson later on in the year.
That'd be great. How does everything always come back to South Beach with you? I mean, I get it. You're down there in Miami, but it's not the center of the universe. I actually Googled that the other day. It's like 10 minutes from where I live here in Kansas City.
In fairness, he doesn't train in South Beach. He trains in Broward County in Davie, which is kind of a horse town. It's like a little western town. It's very quaint.
A horse town. I don't go through many horse towns. Not as many as you'd think living here in the Midwest. I can't believe there's horse towns that live there down there in Florida. All right, let's talk about the fight you were at last week. Canelo took out Jaime Munguia. Again, fight was fun. Kind of went the way that most people thought was going to. I think the question now is, how much gas is left for Canelo? Is he still the face of boxing? And what's next?
I think he has a lot of gas left. I definitely think that was a rejuvenating performance for him because, like you said, most of us thought Munguia was going to come out strong. Could he actually hurt Canelo? The answer to that is no. I think that's probably the one thing you can marvel about Canelo's career out of this is like, man, how does anybody not hurt this guy? He goes in there. He's basically putting his he's coming forward. So it's right there for anybody to really chin check him, and nobody's been able to do it. People have been able to outbox him, and people have been able to have nice performances, winning on the scorecards, but you really have not seen him in danger in many, many fights. So I thought that he looks like he has a lot of gas in the tank left for his age. For people who criticized him taking this fight as far as like the least interesting between Benavidez and Terrence Crawford, it was an entertaining fight. It was definitely an entertaining fight. It had its moments, and props to Munguia for not getting demoralized after taking that uppercut and hitting the canvas in the 4th round. He was able to still be game and make it a crazy round. I will tell you one thing that was weird, Sean, about being in the building. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend, as you know. Both of them are from Mexico. A lot more Munguia chants than there were Canelo chants. I thought that was weird.
That is weird. That must have been a hell of a fun place to be. What are the chances that we see a Canelo-Bud Crawford fight anytime soon? Because that feels almost as big as Pacquiao-Mayweather, as long as they don't screw it up and do it 3-4 years too late.
Yeah, I mean, like there was talk this week. Saudi Arabia really is interested in putting that fight together, and I think that, look, Canelo's no dummy. He has seen the paydays that Tyson Fury has gotten. He has seen the paydays that a lot of those heavyweights have gotten to go over there, and I think he wants in. He wants in on the business. So with him saying that he's not going to fight a David Benavidez unless it's for $200 million, unless it's And he's not going to fight a Terrence Crawford because there's no win. I don't think Canelo is afraid of fighting anybody. This guy, you can say a lot of things about him. He hasn't really ducked many people in his career. He's got a hell of a resume. He's not the most perfect fighter, but he's not ducking anybody. But he is a businessman. And I think that he wants to get a crazy check to fight Terrence Crawford or David Benavidez. And it seems like, based on what Saudi Arabia is saying, is that the Crawford fight is the more likely path. As long as Crawford gets his win later this summer, maybe we are headed towards that. The interesting thing, though, is it'll probably be towards the end of the year rather than September when Canelo normally fights.
What would the odds look like for that fight if we see, let's call it in the next year, neutral territory? Because right now, pound for what it's worth, Bud Crawford's number one. I think the Monster's number two. I believe, I just checked this yesterday, I should remember this, Canelo's at number 4. So we're talking about if the fight was to go down, it could be 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3. What would the odds look like? I assume Terrence Crawford would be a slight favorite.
You know what? I was going to, be a coward and say pick him. Like, I feel like it's going to open up with Canelo, either a slight favorite to it being a pick him. But I think as the fight gets closer, I do think it will be a Terrence Crawford, getting the majority of the money and ending up being the favorite by fight night. But when it opens up, I kind of think because of the weight difference, that the initial odds makers will put the favoritism and make Bud a dog, kind of, get the action spring into it. But I think by fight night, I think Terrence Crawford will be the favorite, just because people will question Canelo's ability to take on, pure boxers. And Bud's not even just a pure boxer. He's a guy who is a power puncher for his weight class, but he is going to be going up 3 weight classes essentially.
I'm with those sharps that get in late. I think Bud Crawford will win the fight. I just hope we get a chance to see it. What we will see next week is the return of Tyson Fury. The last time we saw him, at least against Francis Ngannou, you and I both think Ngannou won the fight, which has to be somewhat embarrassing for Tyson Fury, who came in as like a 15-1 favorite or something like that. He fights Usyk. Usyk's actually favored to win this fight next Saturday night. It's tempting to not play Tyson Fury as a slight underdog.
Yeah, I like Tyson as a dog. I like him even more by decision, which is like around 2-1 right now. I just think that, look, he's never been a big knockout artist in his career. Usyk is obviously, been super durable. There hasn't been a lot of vulnerabilities. The guy has won he won the undisputed championship a weight class below, and then if he wins tonight, he'll become the first heavyweight undisputed champion in years. So this is definitely a tough test for Tyson Fury, because we want to know, like, how serious is he taking it. If you go on body, it looks like he's taking it a lot more seriously, but he is a lot bigger. Usyk has shown some vulnerabilities, like against Anthony Joshua. I just don't think AJ was really in the space to take advantage of him, like Tyson Fury could be. But look, you're not wrong. I mean, like, the last image that we have of him was against Francis Ngannou. He looked flat out awful. And then we saw what AJ looked like against Francis Ngannou, and it looked like it should, which is Francis Ngannou didn't look like he belonged in a boxing ring. So it's impossible for that not to raise questions about desire. How hard is he training? Tyson Fury's been a guy who's always talked about, the mental wear and tear that this sport has taken on him, that life takes on him. So there's some questions about what Tyson Fury are we getting next week when they step in the ring with each other.
He looks great. I mean, physically, he never really comes in with a six-pack or anything like that, but he looked especially bad, I thought, physically, almost like maybe he wasn't taking it quite as seriously as ultimately found out he should have against Francis Ngannou. It looks the opposite. Like, I saw some training footage just last night, and Tyson Fury, he looks absolutely jacked, clearly taking this one serious, and that's where my money's going next Saturday night. You mentioned the demons that he's had to deal with, that we've all had to deal with at some point in our life. Maybe nobody more than Ryan Garcia recently. What do you think the chances are that we get a rematch versus Tank Davis? Because we keep talking about all these big fights. Yeah, Tank took him out and it looked pretty one-sided, but I feel like Ryan Garcia's name is pretty hot. And the weird thing is, at 25 years old, now that he's fighting the biggest names out there, you can't really take a step back if you want to lose interest.
I think that if that happens, it's going to be years down the line. I think Gervonta Davis having the win over him, where his name is already as hot as it is right now, I think Tank is going to kind of latch onto that and just hold on to it for a little while just to drive Ryan nuts. It's interesting. Obviously, he's going on the thing with the positive test for the ostracine. I think I got that supplement right. And where does it stand? Is he going to get cleared of it? Is he not? We have a little bit of a John Jones situation where it's like, well, it's picograms. It's, a little bit of this substance. Was it a contaminated substance? That whole deal that we have to go through. The difference is with UFC and boxing is UFC, when this would happen with USADA, man, you're going to be out for a couple of years. We really don't know what the ramifications are going to be for Ryan Garcia, but it will likely delay whenever he's going to be back in the ring, unless he goes and fights in, I don't know, like Mississippi or Tennessee or someplace that'll sanction him that he doesn't have to worry about it. So that's a big leap. There's been some chatter between him and Errol Spence. There's a little drama because Errol Spence is being sued by his trainer, Derek James. So there's a little bit of a storyline there because Ryan Garcia is now trained by Derek James. So could we see the return of Errol Spence in a matchup against Ryan Garcia? That's kind of an intriguing one as well.
You mentioned fight locations. AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas will be the location for Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson coming up later on this summer. There's going to be so much money coming in on that fight. Everybody's going to be watching. I know you shake your head. We've been talking about this one now for like 2.5 years, kind of laughing at it. But when the night that it actually comes, and we're talking, that's going to feel like I think it's going to feel like an old Mike Tyson, like 1990s type atmosphere. Maybe, obviously, not maybe, for the very last time, only because you'd have the complete crossover with, obviously, he's got fans all over the place. So does Jake Paul. They're a lot younger. It's happening in a football stadium. I ain't going to lie to you, dude. Kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be a fraud. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to give you all the bets on it. It's very probably morally wrong that a 58-year-old is stepping into a pro-sanctioned fight, but they're tweaking it a little bit. 2-minute rounds, giant-ass gloves. So, I guess that makes us feel a little bit better. But, yeah, listen, Tyson does look good at it. He's not, partaking in nighttime activities, no weed. He seems like he's taking it serious.
Hey, don't knock it till you've tried it. There's also a $2 million VIP package. You want to go halvesies on that for the fight? That's Brendan Tobin. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine, here on the BetQL Network.